Hi, I'm Cara Fraser. Welcome to today's video, which is a little tutorial on how to roll over the toes during a vinyasa, specifically from Chaturanga to Updog and then from Updog to Down Dog. I was a dancer and a gymnast, and I've been practicing yoga for a long time and could never figure out how to roll over my toes. And I just figured it out recently, and I would ask people and I would watch them, and I couldn't figure it out. And I usually am able to figure things out in my body as someone who has moved for many years and has a lot of body awareness. And it was incredibly frustrating for me. And I found I'm not alone. A lot of people have the same problem. And I think it's probably people with the same background as me, because what I figured out is that I was trying to point my toes and roll over them, specifically from up dog to down dog. And I was actually making it much harder on myself. Also, I broke my left foot several years ago, and I found that I tend to favor my right foot in fear of re-injuring this left foot. So I have this mental thing going on as well. But what I found is, let's just work on just sitting and working with the feet for a second. So just sit in Dandasana with the legs out straight, and then flex the feet. So flex the ankles, pull the toes back towards you, just to feel the movement of different foot positions. And then point the feet like a ballerina. So this is what I was always doing, pointing the ankle, pointing the toes. And I was trying to roll over this. Now, point the ankles, flex the toes. So it's a combination of the two. Some people call it Barbie toes. Some people call it flointing, flexing and pointing. But as I started working with this foot position, it helps not only for things like inversions, you can really activate both sides of the legs and get this line of energy through the ball of the foot. But I also found for me, this is what helped me connect to rolling over my toes. So quickly, let's just talk about Chaturanga to Up Dog. And let's use a strap. Kind of doing this ad hoc here, but I think having some of the weight off of your arms is going to help you figure out your feet. So take the loop of your strap. So you can put your arms through it, and the arms will be about shoulder distance apart. I've done this in some of my other videos. I think it'll be helpful for you today. So take the strap right above the elbow creases, and you can just watch me this first time. But this is going from Chaturanga to Up Dog. So in Chaturanga, you're really on the bottoms of your toes, and then you just slowly roll over onto the tops of the toes. So you'll start in plank. Notice where I am, kind of balls of the feet, toes. As I come forward, I come onto the bottoms of my toes, come halfway down, and then you just kind of press over the tops of the toes, roll onto them, okay? So you want to give that a shot. Come forward into plank. Just move slowly. See if you can come halfway down, and as you do that, just start to shift your weight forward as you roll over. It's a little awkward, but you get the idea. So that's something I was trying to make it really hard, and I found if I move slower, I could shift the weight into my arms, roll over the toes, and then it becomes more natural over time. But the real struggle that I had was up dog to down dog. So I'm going to show you what I would do. I was trying to keep that extreme ballerina point the whole time. And instead of rolling over both feet at the same time, I would end up doing one side then the other. So I'm going to show you that first. So from up dog, I would press into the tops of the feet, lift the hips, and then come one and then the other. And what I found I was doing is I was rolling from the ankle to the top of the foot, and the toes were the very last thing that I needed to roll over. So instead of going that way, I think of flointing now. So I point the ankle, flex the toes, and I roll over the toes first. So when I'm up in up dog, think of spreading the toes nice and wide, rolling over those instead of the ankle and the foot down, coming from the toes up, if that makes sense. So from up dog, before I do anything, I'm flointing and I'm spreading through the toes. Then I start to lift the hips, but before I do anything, nice and slowly come over the toes. So it's the same thing as coming from Chaturanga to Updog, moving really slowly, shifting the weight, and it makes it really easy to just ploop, roll over the toes. Do you like that official term? Ploop. So let's try it. Come into Updog, think of flointing, and spread the toes, okay? From here, press into the toes, roll over them, lift the hips up, come into down dog. And drop the knees down. You may not get it immediately. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and all of a sudden this light bulb went off, even though I've watched people do it and I understood that they were kind of doing the toes first, but it was very hard for me to break the habit of pointing my feet like a dancer. And it's been something I've kind of been challenged with changing in my practice, and I'm slowly getting there because I was a dancer for 15 years, some of you probably for even more than that. So it's just habit, learning to break that habit. So try this, try and incorporate in your practice. I hope it helps. And if you find that it does, or if there's something else that you've done that's helped, I'd love to hear about it because I'd love to be able to share it with people as well.